Okay, let us continue on. In the previous video, we took a look at analyzing the income statement, and here we have French Connection Importers Comparative Balance Sheet for the 2 years 2012 and 2011. Once again, in horizontal analysis, we're taking the new number minus the old number. That's our total difference, increase or decrease. We put parentheses around it if it's being decreased. Okay, then we take that total difference, divide it by the old number, and that gives us our percent change. And just like with the income statement, we're going to look at two things. We're going to look at mainly a percent change being 10 or 12% or more, and then secondarily, are the dollar amounts in 2011 and 2012, are they significant dollar amounts? So here the cash has gone up by 30%, and it has significant dollars. So we would investigate that. Now it so happens we have a statement of cash flows. We'll answer all of our questions about how the cash got from $19,700 up to $25,695. So we know that our sales went way up from the income statement, and of course some of those sales were probably on account, which caused accounts receivable to also go way up, okay? And some of those were cash sales, okay? So that's probably the reason, but our statement of cash flows would be able to answer any other questions about where all this extra cash came from. Did we get some loans? Like, are we getting ready to expand or something? Did we issue some new stock and we got some cash from that? So all of that would be answered on the statement of cash flows, but you would want to talk about that in your paper for your project. Now the government notes, this is where we're investing some extra cash because this $25,000 is sitting in a checking account that's not making us any interest or dividends or anything. So by putting at least some of it into government notes, these can be this cash can be gotten a hold of quickly. So it's not quite as quickly as pulling it out of the checking account, but we can still get a hold of that money if we need it, and it's making us some more interest. So, however, we see that went up by 400%, but the dollars are low compared to these dollars of cash. So we probably would not investigate that. You would just consider that really cash-wise we had $20,000 and it went up to $30,000 between these two things. Accounts receivable went up by 23.5%. So what makes accounts receivable increase? Well, if we're selling more on accounts, that would make it go up. Or if our customers that bought on account before aren't paying us, and so their balances are still sitting in there unpaid for. So that can be a bad thing, of course. We want the customers that we sell on account to pay us off quickly, okay? More sales on account can be good, it can be bad. The more that you sell on account, the more bad debts that expense that you're going to end up, because there's, you know, a certain number of people that are not ever going to pay you and others that are going to be slow pay people. And the more you sell on account, the more you're taking a risk of that kind of thing happening. So I would still investigate this. This is more than 10 or 12%. The dollars are high, and we want to know, you know, number one, is this just because we have more sales on account? Did we relax our policies about who could buy on account? which would cause sales to go up, but it also might be risky to do so. So we would look into that. And also we would look in to see if our customers are taking longer. And we can do the accounts receivable turnover ratio to see how, if that has changed, how long it takes them to pay us off. All right, merchandise inventory stayed relatively the same, only 2.3%. So obviously, even though we have a lot larger sales, we're not bringing in huge amounts of inventory to sit on the shelf. So we're keeping a just-in-time thing going on where we're getting our inventory in as it's being sold. And so that's probably a very good thing for management, and we probably don't need to investigate this. We could ask management to make sure that that's the case, that we're utilizing our just-in-time. All right, supplies and prepayments is a small dollar a number. So even though it's a high percentage, we won't investigate that. Okay, here we have land, building, store, and delivery equipment. Okay, those are all big dollars. And everything except delivery and office equipment, the land didn't go up. We have the same amount of land. But the building went up by $15,000. Store equipment went up by $10,000. So this is 11 and 12% increase. So are these because we had to do like repairs, like we put roof on the building and we replaced some store equipment that was old? Or is this an expanding thing? Did we add on some space to the building? Did we add some new equipment because we're expanding out a little bit? Okay, so we would want to know why are those being paid for? We could find the answers to those probably in the notes to the financial statement. Would talk about whether we're expanding or buried in some repairs type of thing. No, we could find out if these are just maintenance and repairs. Okay, the delivery and office equipment went down. Okay, and so that means that we either sold some of that stuff or some of it became old and we tossed it. Also notice that these say net. Okay, the building, the store equipment, the delivery and office equipment is net of any accumulated depreciation. So it could be that the delivery and office equipment stayed the same, the equipment itself stayed the same, but accumulated depreciation every year, we take more depreciation, and that caused the number to go down. Okay, so this would all of these things would also be on our depreciation schedule that the company would have. You would not have access to that for your project, to depreciation schedules, but there would be notes in the financial statements. You would also see in the statement of cash flows that we, what we exactly purchased and how much of this going down was due to depreciation. So you can find most of what you want on the statement of cash flows. The rest would be in the notes to the financial statements. The last thing on here is organization costs, and that is small numbers, so we would not investigate that. Okay, so there was our total property, plant, and equipment, and our total assets. Then we go down to liabilities. So accrued liabilities and payroll taxes. These are just small things that we owe out, and that's small dollars, so we would not investigate that. Notes payable went down by $27,500, and plus its big numbers to begin with, went down by 73.3%. That's huge. Okay, so we would want to investigate that, and there would be notes in the financial statements. We would also see on the statement of cash flows that we had paid notes off. What we would want to know is, did we pay off the notes early? Are we just paying on time? These are notes that were due and we paid them like we were supposed to. Or did we have all this extra cash from all those big sales and we paid these off early? The earlier you can pay your debt off, then you won't have to be paying interest expense on that liability. So it's good to pay debt off and to have less debt if you can. So is that what we did, or was it just time we had to pay it anyways? Okay. The accounts payable also went way down. So this could mean that we're buying less on account, or it could also mean that we're paying it off quicker, earlier. So we would want to take a look at what's happening there. Generally with accounts payable, it's 30 days. You got to pay it. There's no reason, unless you get a discount, there's no reason to pay it off early. You might as well use that money yourself as opposed to handing it to the vendor. And so even though we like debt to go down, generally don't want to pay accounts payable off too soon. Okay. Accrued interest payable is small dollars, so we won't investigate that. Income tax payable only went up by 1.5%. We won't worry about that. Dividends payable is smaller dollars as well, but dividends that we are going to pay out to our investors is going up. So we had a really good year, and so we're giving investors more dividends. That's usually a good sign. It makes investors happy. Okay, for our long-term liabilities, we have bonds payable, and we paid those off. They are the same. They're exactly the same. Now, this represents the amount that we owe sometime in the future. Bonds are oftentimes could be 10 and 20 years out from now that we owe this principal. In the meantime, we do have to pay interest. And a lot of times it's written into the bond contract called the indenture that we are not allowed to pay it off early. And so even though we might have had the extra cash, we couldn't pay that off early necessarily. Okay, here we have stockholders' equity, and our common stock went up by $15,000 along with the PIC account that's attached at the hip to it. So basically we issued stock for $22,500. And we should be able to see that on the statement of cash flows as well, that we received a bunch of cash because we issued stock to new investors. Okay, generally that signifies that we're growing and more investors are buying our stock. The retained earnings went up because our net income went up that got closed into it. Went down a little because dividends would have been subtracted from it, but mostly it went up because net income was so high. Okay, and we don't really need to discuss that.